I think I'm a special one.
What are we doing? What are we doing?
All right. What's up, Chad?
Yo, what's up?
All right. Ready to go. Episode 10 on the Zoom. Right? It doesn't have a side-by-side. Hopefully it records like that. Can I change it? All right. Can you see me side-by-side?
What do you mean?
Are we next to each other?
Yeah.
All right. So, all right. That should be how it records, I guess. So we'll go like this. Last Zoom went okay, so figure it out. What are you wearing?
The Juve, I think it's their warm-up jersey last season. It's got the pink and the black. It's pretty dope.
Oh,
That's
it's
one of my
like
cooler jerseys.
it's like tie-dye or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
What about you, bro?
So I'm running out of jerseys to wear. So I have one of my old Fury jerseys. It has the logo, Hummel. I don't know if you can see, I was number 15. So I need to get a few more jerseys. I'm waiting for that Pulisic number 10 kit to come out. I'm going to buy it.
Yeah.
Maybe even a Weston McKennie Juve jersey would be kind of tough. I don't know.
Number 14.
He's number 14?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. Did you see Pulisic got the 10 shirt?
Yeah, I did. I mean, I haven't seen him wear it yet, but I saw that Ziyech is number 10 or number 22 now.
Yeah, on the website, they're still selling Pulisic number 22 jerseys, but they announced it today that Pulisic's going to be the 10, and it's pretty fitting because this is episode number 10.
Is it episode number 10?
Yeah.
Word.
Yep. So today, obviously, Chad's still in college. I'm back in the stew right here with the setup. We're going to talk some Union MLS news, some little news about Messi. We'll get into like some Premier League predictions and like our thoughts on some of our signings. And today's episode should be more like around the professional game with like our thoughts thrown in. And then maybe in the next episodes to come, we'll talk, some different things we'll get into later. All right. All right. Do you want to get into the first topic?
Yep.
All right. So Union beat the Red Bulls. Would it end up 3-0? Then 3-0?
Yeah. 3-0.
Yeah. This, we're not going to come on here and review every Union game, but I think it's important that a place that's normally hard to play at, Red Bull Arena, even though with no fans, the Union just go in and just straight up crush them. Like, kind of had the game won, once that first goal went in, they just dominated.
Under a new coach, right? Wasn't that the Red Bulls interim coach's first game?
Yeah, I forget his name, but they fired Chris Armas right before the game. Chris Armas is like a U.S. soccer legend, too. He's kind of been around for a while. But, yeah, I don't know much about this coach. They talked a little bit about him on the broadcast, but
I don't really think it changes anything that the Red Bulls try and do because don't they just try and play the same way at all levels?
Yeah, they literally just press and, run hard. And first of all, I think Jim Curtin outclassed them. Like, he's got that figured out. We've beaten the Red Bulls, multiple times in a row. The Red Bulls, they cheated themselves kind of. I get being frugal and trying to, find value, but you win the Supporters Shield. You have Bradley Wright Phillips and Sasha Kleiston and, all these, really good players. And then you start slowly integrating, the youth guys, which is good. You want to play the kids, but, if they're not ready or they're not up to that level, you're going to see a decline. And you've seen them go from the top down a peg, down a peg, down a peg. And, it's literally Kaku and a bunch of USL guys or guys who just graduated from USL. So it's you got to expect that they're not going to be as good.
Yeah. Well,
Nothing to say to that?
no, nothing else I can touch upon. What do you
Left you speechless. Did you see Brendan Aaronson's goal?
Yeah, I saw Brendan Aaronson's goal live.
That was awesome. Yeah. It's just cool to see a player like that we've kind of seen ever since he really broke into the Union first team. Like he's taken those little steps in his game, and now that he starts, every game or every other game, he's putting a dangerous chance away or like slipping a dangerous through ball in. Like so, he's a good player. Like he's adding those things to his game.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Good thing you agree. So there's some big news that Aaronson was linked to RB Salzburg. There's been other rumors that he was linked to like the Bundesliga. What do you think? I think Salzburg would be a pretty good place for him, honestly.
Yeah, but I mean, watching him the past few games, I don't really think he's ready for Europe.
I mean, he's only 19, so if he gets bought by a European team, I would expect he's not a starter right away. Like he's got to fight for his spot.
I don't expect him to be a first-team player at RB Salzburg, a team that plays in the Champions League. I love Brendan Aaronson, but I don't think he's at that level yet.
Maybe, but even in the past, middle of last year, I used to kind of talk about Aaronson and be like, he's okay. He shows like a flash or two, but he's always the first sub out. He's always can't really count on him for any final product. And now he's literally putting that final product out there early in games, being dangerous. So I feel like people see the potential in him.
He'll probably end the season with 5 goals and a couple of assists. So he really still doesn't have that much of a final product.
I don't know. Well, he's got to have 3 goals now?
Probably. If you count MLS is back too, there might be a couple. I don't know.
Yeah.
But,
and the Union, he's part of a good Union team too. If he was part of this Union team from 16, where we're middle of the table, it's okay. But this team's top of the table most of the time, beating teams.
I would love to see him in Europe, but think about is he what will help him more? Staying in the MLS? He's only been in the MLS for 2 seasons. So if he stays another 2 seasons, he could be a beast in the MLS.
These teams will take chances on players like this, though. You're Salzburg, you're running through Austria anyway, and they're just willing to take chances on guys that they could sell. So if they buy Aaronson for a couple million and flip him for 12 million or something like that, it's pretty good. He just changed his agent. His agent's, I don't know who his old agent was, but Wasserman is his new agent, which I'm pretty sure is a well-known soccer agency. I think they represent Weston McKinney, so they have Bundesliga ties, so it's good European ties. So that looks pretty favorable for him. And we talk about it all the time, and I think it's different for every player, but a player staying in MLS versus going to challenge themselves, it's a big deal to go challenge yourself and fight for your spot too. It shows a lot about the player. And it's not Salzburg play this crazy, it's a little bit similar to the Union. The Union play a really high pressing style. They try to, a lot of defensive work rate. And that's the way the Red Bull teams play too.
Yeah.
So it'd be interesting to see. I doubt we get any news on that till the winter though. I
don't think that would happen until after the MLS season.
Yeah. There was a rumor last night. I didn't get to look up the guy, but the Union were rumored to be in on a young Argentinian center back, plays for their U23 team and plays somewhere in Argentina, I think. So they're saying,
I think it's pronounced Independente or something.
Yeah, Independiente. Yeah. But this guy, I would assume this guy's pretty good. Maybe we sell McKenzie. So yeah, that'd be cool. But I don't think either of them get sold before the end of this year. I think they're going to make one last push, but then they're planning to sell these guys. So now they're just waiting, hoping they get a good end of the season, jack up the price a little bit, and then dish them out. But speaking of that kind of stuff, some more MLS news. Reggie Cannon. So I think he's on your USMNT drafted team, right?
He's on my team, yeah.
Yeah. So he's right back. Plays for FC Dallas, played in the Gold Cup in 2019. He's going for like 3.5 million to a Portuguese first division team. So pretty legit. I don't know enough about the Portuguese league to say that a mid-table Portuguese team is better or worse than MLS, but I would think it is, right?
Yeah, well, better than MLS because it's like a top 7 or 8 league.
Yeah, and like think about it. Every game he could be going up against like just a really quality player or like some young Portuguese guy coming through, or
Yeah. I heard that the teams that he's transferred to is called Bella Vista FC. They also have like connection with Lille, the team that Tim Weah plays for.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Lille loaned like 3 or 4 players out this season to Bella Vista. So if Reggie Cannon does really good there, maybe he can move to the French league.
Yeah, that'd be cool. And I think just like a different experience for him too. He's been wanting to move for like over a year now, and he's been like really good. So,
and apparently his contract sucks or something.
Yeah, he was making like a minimum salary in MLS, and then like signed for a better contract, but could still make more. So he's probably going to make a lot of money now. I think it's also important that like MLS kind of bottled this for a little bit. It was like, oh, when are they going to sell Reggie Cannon? Like, when are they going to sell Reggie Cannon? And like, it's time now that MLS, like, they start opening up they open up the checkbook a little bit, like Atlanta United for young DPs, but now it's open up the transfer list for like guys that you want to sell too. Like, if there's a time to sell and the player wants to leave, like, you got to be able to sell those guys off. You got to start playing in the international transfer market.
Yeah. Do you think it's worth for FC Dallas to even sell him for $3.5 million or whatever it was?
Yeah, because I bet they could find a right back somewhere that's like not as good as him, but like close, and they use that money reinvested into their youth academy or whatever. It's like, and the point is like you're getting these guys to go play in Europe, so it's a good thing for the academy guys to see, for other people coming to MLS to know that like they could use MLS as a stepping stone. It's not a bad thing. Because with any, like, look at the Dutch league or something, they develop their players, they sell them off. So if MLS like adopts that model, it's a good thing. But then you still get powerhouses that might keep their players or make they invest in a youth player. The youth player like turns out great. They sell them for a ton of money, and then they use that money like buy up some older players, but they're still good. And then you get like a organic like growth of like MLS super clubs, MLS selling clubs. Like it kind of balances itself out.
I think there's not a whole lot of like people in U.S. soccer, like their eyes on teams like this that he's being transferred to, Boa Vista or whatever.
Yeah.
I feel like there's never that many players on the national team that play for clubs like that. Like other players, some players play in the Premier League. There's a lot in the Bundesliga.
Yeah.
And MLS, and those are probably the 3 main leagues that people watch here in the U.S.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that will help him or hurt him. He's the starting right back right now, but could change.
I don't think he's the starting right back for. Are you talking about for the national team?
Right now, he'd be the starting right back.
I don't know about that. But it gets him in the conversation with other Europeans, so it puts him at least close to a level playing field with Dest and Yedlin and I don't know, the other guys there. But yeah, if he came up through that Portuguese academy but was still American and was still playing for that team, people probably wouldn't talk much about him. So it's like, I could see why players want to stay in MLS or play in MLS, because you can get lost in the crowd in Europe, but be like a legit player in MLS and get some hype. Like if Sam Vines or somebody like that was in Europe, like you probably wouldn't really be getting a look. But it's not a bad thing either. Like people want to hate MLS, but every national team relies on their domestic league for something. So
you got to be able to retain players if you want that league to be good.
Yeah, but you can't just like retain them. Like I don't want McKenzie and Aaronson to be on the Union forever. Like that'd be great, but they're not going to develop to their fullest potential.
Yeah, because the league's not good enough to keep. players at that level.
What do you mean?
Like the MLS isn't good enough to keep players who are good enough for other leagues too. You know.
Well, yeah, there's almost no league that's good enough. There's literally just tiers. The Bundesliga isn't good enough until you're in the Dortmund or Bayern Munich tier. You know what I mean? So every league has tiers. If that top tier ended up being New York City and Atlanta and the Galaxy, like that's great. Then you have other like selling type teams in the league.
Yeah.
You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, I know what you're trying to say.
Yeah.
Bayern and Dortmund will usually buy the best German players.
Yeah. Not that like the Galaxy are going to be a super team and buy the best Americans, but like I could see them going out and making a splash for Ibra or Dos Santos or whatever, while the Union are focused on growing their own talent and bringing in like underrated guys like Jamiro Montero.
Okay.
So it's something like that. I think in the macro sense, like within like 2 or 3 years, it's something to keep an eye on to see like how they adapt. Now, really, if MLS like was more forward thinking about this, they would have like opened the market a little bit, because they're so like close minded, and the MLS has rules for each team because they're franchises, not clubs. So they like a percentage of that selling fee goes back to MLS, and there's like a ton of rules on it. Now, if they were just like free clubs and they could just transfer players like in Europe, just however they want, then it would go a lot more smoother, and you know, it'd be easier, like free market.
Yeah, does that hurt the MLS?
I think
like
it's
clubs.
It's almost like a discussion for a whole podcast, like promotion relegation. But in the grand scheme of things, I think MLS needed that to like protect its top markets, its investors, and whatever in terms of top clubs. But at some point, you just got to like rip it off and say like, go do your own thing. The teams are smart enough now. Atlanta United's making savvy signings. Like, even like
some clubs will go like bankrupt or something.
Well, it may be in 2005 or even like 2012 they might have, but now I think they're smart enough not to.
What about like Nashville?
I don't know, man.
Probably like the team with the least amount of money in the whole league.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's also part of MLS's plan with – this is a whole different topic, but they're letting in a lot of these like hyped up USL franchises. So now they're not relying so much on the big markets. Like if you think about in the early 2000s, they're protecting these big markets like the Metro Stars, the Chicago Fire. Like they got to make sure that franchise makes it. But now it's almost like we don't care that Nashville isn't a huge city like New York or Philly or DC or whatever. They have a club, and the club will keep itself going.
Yeah.
You're slowly putting more faith into each team, each franchise, each club, whatever. But in the past, it wasn't. So it's getting there.
Okay.
An extreme example would be like a communist or socialist country, like slowly turning to capitalism, I guess.
Thank you for that one.
Yeah.
That helps.
Andrew and Chad 2020. All right. Next big news. Messi staying with Barcelona.
I saw a tweet today. It was a picture of Ronaldo, and it was like, this guy doesn't fake retirement. He doesn't fake transfer rumors. He just works hard and does his thing or whatever, which is pretty true.
Yeah.
But there's just like so much talk around Messi, and nothing ever changes for Messi.
Yeah,
really.
I don't think look, it came out that Messi's family doesn't want to leave Barcelona. He probably doesn't want either. It was like we said on the podcast, I'm pretty sure. It's just a power struggle. He wanted the president out or more power or specific transfers or whatever. And, you know, he was just like, I want to leave if you're not giving it to me. I'm pretty sure his contract is up at the end of 2021, so maybe he leaves after that. I don't know.
That's what I'm thinking might happen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but like it'd be interesting to see like if the team's good, if he suddenly is happy again. You know, what if Coutinho comes in and is like lighting it up, and it's like Messi and Coutinho show or something like that, and like they're rolling through teams. Real Madrid has a down season, they run through La Liga, and suddenly like Messi's like back to old Messi. You know?
Yeah, the team's going to be weird because you got Suarez going to Juventus.
Yeah, that's official. Well, I guess it's like almost official, but
yeah. And then you got your attackers. You got Messi, Coutinho, Bele, and then a bunch of similar center mid players.
What about Conrad De La Fuente? American. He's in. If you go on YouTube and look up Barcelona's YouTube channel, they post like highlights from like their training sessions. De La Fuente's in every video.
Yeah, I'm sure a ton of academy players are playing with him right now since it's preseason. But
I recognize most of the guys in the video.
I'm sure he'll make an appearance.
Yeah, that's gotta be crazy. A 19-year-old. What is he? I think he's 19 or 18. Like,
I'm not sure.
that's so good for him.
Yeah. So, but then he's behind Messi.
Yeah. If he could just break through to that first team,
Yeah.
just take that right winger spot from Messi. But yeah, I don't have too much like opinions, like too many opinions on this, because like it's just Messi trying to like flex his muscle, or just stuff like just BS rumors that somehow get out that Messi doesn't.
Definitely trying to flex his muscles.
Yeah.
Just crazy. When you think of Barcelona, well, for me, when I think of Barcelona, I think Messi.
Yeah.
And it's crazy that, like, even with all that he's doing, he still can't really get change in the club.
I mean, like, everyone wants to bash him, but I'm sure they're, like, still smart soccer people there, too. I think their new coach is going to do well. They today they announced Memphis Depay's coming in. Not that really does anything, but
Really?
yeah.
No, it's not. It's actually a great signing. I like Memphis Depay.
Was he going to play up top? He doesn't play. He plays as like a 9.
Yeah. For Barcelona, it's weird, but
exactly. Like all these signings like make sense in theory if you were just starting your own club, but like Barcelona.
Every signing this window has been a FIFA signing.
Yeah. Yeah, Suarez to Juventus. It happened in FIFA career mode.
Thiago Silva to Chelsea. Like what?
Yeah, we'll get to that too.
Okay.
Any other thoughts on Messi? I mean, like I'm not like a Messi fanboy. You're more of a Messi fan than I am, so I kind of sit back and like I criticize him here and there. Sometimes I think he takes like plays off, or it looks like he doesn't care. It's just kind of a style, I guess.
No, I got no other opinions on Messi really.
Yeah. All right, cool. I mean, yeah, we'll see.
So
yeah, we'll see how this season goes for him. One thing I wanted to talk about, I don't know if you have any opinions on this, but there's a lot of news about U.S. women's national team players going to England. So today, Manchester United women's team announced they're signing Tobin Heath and Christian Press. And a few weeks ago, Manchester City's women's team announced they're signing Rose Lavelle and Sam Mewis, who are like all 4 of those players are arguably like 4 of the top like 6 players on the women's national team.
It's gonna be a heck of a Manchester derby.
Oh yeah, we're gonna have to tune in. But like, what do you think? Like, you think it's a good thing?
For who? U.S.
The women's national team, yeah, like soccer.
Yeah, I don't know enough. I don't know if the NWSL is a better league than the English league.
Yeah.
I would think like the English league's like better.
Like, yeah, the way I see it is
more money put into it for sure. Like,
it's actually crazy that it seems like the U.S. soccer, like the women's national team and whatever professional league was in the U.S. had like a head start. They started on third base compared to most of these like European teams because they just weren't into women's soccer early as we were. And we just bottled it. Like all these teams, like they have like the soccer infrastructure with Premier League teams and whatever and training academies. And then they just use it for women as well. And then we get left in the dust. Like I've been kind of saying it for a while that like our women's national team, like they get better, but like everyone else is getting so much better. Like the Netherlands, like they probably just adopt like whatever they do with the men, they just kind of do with the women. Same model, same like club, like youth academy structure. And it just goes from bottom to top. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
While like our system here is like we have the women's national team and it's top to bottom. Like I was kind of mad in the World Cup in 2019 when all they wanted to talk about was like Rapinoe and like kneeling for the anthem and like the White House and whatever and equal pay. And it's like, this is your chance to like actually beef up the NWSL and get people to tune in and watch. But instead, they get the boost from the women's national team. They go on tour with the women's national team, make all their money from there, and then just kind of play their NWSL season without any like hype to it. And there's been no real like interest in it. Maybe that's U.S. soccer's fault. Maybe I just don't understand the situation enough. But from someone that follows soccer but not so much women's soccer, it seems like the players and the coach and whoever kind of missed the boat on that one.
Yeah, I guess it's just the money put in NWSL.
Yeah, I mean, think about it. In 10 years, the women's national team is probably not going to be a powerhouse, honestly. Like, England's already close. Spain's getting close. Netherlands are close. Sweden.
You think they won't be a powerhouse anymore?
That we're literally just getting by because we have better players, like better athletes, like better, more girls playing.
Over 20 years.
Yeah, but dude, I don't know. Like maybe this new girls academy they just started at the youth levels is like the way to go, and it's really helping. But there's no, I don't know, man. I don't see like it's got to start from the bottom up. Every good club, men's or women's, in Europe, South America, whatever, like it's like a bottom up approach. You build the youth and like how they move through the ranks. But in the US, there's no, especially on the women's game, there's no emphasis on that. So they'll play for these club teams or these academy teams, these high school teams, college teams, but it's just in that moment. There's no like structure to push them through. You know what I mean?
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah. I actually might do some more research on this and see what the deal is and why like the Netherlands have just gotten so good all of a sudden.
Yeah, I don't know enough.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, all I know is like what I see in like the club game. I just assume that all of our best women's players here in the U.S. just play for the best club team in their area or academy team or whatever the girls' academy actually is, and then they just go to the best college, like UCLA or UNC, and then they play for half the year and then just get drafted to the NWSL. And then eventually just leave the NWSL if they're good enough because all the good soccer is happening in Europe.
Yeah.
And we even saw with like Alex Morgan going to France for that year. And what's her name? Lindsay Horan. She played in France too. So, yeah. I think it's the first time we talked about women's soccer on here.
I think it is the first time.
And like I haven't really tuned into NWSL too much, but like I would if it was like, you know, more on TV and available, I guess.
It was like that tournament was on CBS.
The Challenge Cup.
Yeah, and all the games are on like the CBS All Access.
Oh, dude, did you cancel our free trial?
No.
We're probably getting charged for that now.
Well, Champions League's gonna come back.
Yeah, but might as well cancel it, and I'll just start a new free trial on my email. All right, you want to do some Premier League predictions?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, how do you want to do this? Do you want to start from who we
Let's
think's going to win the league?
Let's start from top to bottom. So,
okay. Well, I'm not going to rank like the 15th best team. I was just saying like I'm going to start with my top team.
Yeah, I was going to say my top team too.
And then do you want to go? Then when we say our team, we'll kind of, you know, go through like some some good transfers they made.
Yeah.
Some good incoming players. So you want to go first?
Yeah. So what do you just say who I think's going to win the league?
Yeah.
So who I think's going to win the league is Manchester City.
All right. Good. I had them too.
You agree?
Number one. All right. So I think they signed Nathan Ake and Fernan Torres were their two biggest signings. Fernan Torres apparently is like a legit winger, pretty creative. Don't watch a whole lot of La Liga, but he's supposed to be pretty good. Ake has actually been playing left back for the Netherlands during the Nations League games. So I was on here a few weeks ago saying like, oh, can he actually play left back? So maybe he can. So maybe that's how Pep's going to use him. I don't know.
Yeah. We'll see. You're a big Laporte guy, but
I'm not like a huge Laporte guy, but
And Ake might start over him. So
I don't know about that one.
no, he might. That's what people have in their lineups.
Oof.
And you saw how Laporte played in the Champions League.
I've always been critical of Laporte. I thought he's not good in big games.
Anyway, they lost David Silva.
Yeah, which is a big loss, but I mean, he wasn't like that good this past season. He's old.
And they lost Sane.
Yeah, that's a big one too. Sonny was hurt for a while, so
Guerra's only getting older. Now that I think about it, why did I pick them to finish first? But
oh yeah, Pep Guardiola. That's why.
I just think they're too good with De Bruyne, and just their style of play.
Yeah, and yeah, it's another year of Pep's system. You should see big leaps from like Sterling is only getting better. I think Bernardo Silva, Phil Foden, like those guys are getting better. Healthy Aguero, hopefully.
Now that I think about it, they haven't really spent that much money.
Yeah.
Are you sure that those are the only two big signings?
Yeah, I think there was a couple other guys, but they weren't like big signings.
All right. We don't miss.
Wait, did I hear it right that Premier League they're sticking with 5 subs, right?
Oh, I'm not sure.
And whatever it is, it's going to benefit the big teams. So.
Well, yeah, but more subs.
Yeah, I think they're doing 5 subs in the Premier League still, which I don't like. I'd rather just go back to 3 when you don't have to shove so many games in.
Me too.
But yeah, so you ready to go for number 2?
Yeah.
All right, who do you have?
Liverpool.
Oh crap! Where's my? Oh, here it is. I had Chelsea at 2.
Okay, I felt like you were gonna say Chelsea.
Do you want to? You want to talk about Liverpool?
Yeah, I'll talk about Liverpool.
Go off, bro. List all of their good transfers they've made.
They haven't made like any. I don't know. I'm trying to think who they even signed. They signed a left back.
Yeah, who's like worth like 8 or 9 million. He's probably just depth for Robertson.
I honestly don't think they signed
That was it. When I checked.
any other center mids. See,
and Wijnaldum is probably going to leave for Barcelona.
Well, it doesn't seem like that's happening.
No, I'm pretty sure it is, dude.
Well, unless I hear it happen, I don't believe it.
I just don't think, like, when you build a system, like, Klopp's done a great job, but it's all based on, like, it's such, like, a high pace of play. It just seems like something that's just going to, like, run you down and without, you know.
You think it runs you down in 3 seasons? Because it does.
When you start the same guys, there's no squad rotation. It's the same stuff. It's built on intensity and grit and, like, high flying and, like,
he's got the guys to do that, though. And he's got the guys who are committed to doing that. And
okay, but
if he didn't think they would do it again, he would have brought in more players.
I don't know, man. It just seems like it's the same guys and there's not enough. I wouldn't say depth because I don't think depth is super important, but it's Salah, Mane, Firmino, like all the time. It's Van Dijk all the time. It's Robertson, Alexander-Arnold all the time. Like there's nothing different there.
You're forgetting they literally have the best goal in the Premier League, the best defense in the Premier League. Like I can't say best midfield, but that midfield makes it hard for anybody to play against.
Yeah, I got you. I just
style of play to get it forward to those attackers has been lethal for 3 seasons now.
Yeah. I'm just saying, think of this. I don't want it to happen, but Alexander-Arnold out for 2 months, sprains his knee or something. Like, that's a massive loss. Either their outside backs go down, massive loss.
That's why they brought in another guy at left back. But if they lost Alexander-Arnold, it's system, bro. I know that
all right, but dude, you can't just replace Alexander-Arnold.
You can't replace him, no. But for 2 months, you're just gonna have to deal with it. All right, if you deal with it.
Those 2 months are gonna lose you the Premier League.
All right, Man City, Kevin De Bruyne sprains his ankle or something. I don't know. He's out too. That's huge for Man City, so it can happen to any team.
And I guess they deal with it. Did you have Chelsea third?
I did have Chelsea third.
All right, so we talk about them. Timo Werner, Ziyech, Chilwell, Thiago Silva, Kai Havertz. I don't know much about Malang Sarr, but he's supposed to be pretty good. I mean, like,
We're signing a goalie too.
yeah, I think he's more of like a low key goalie. Like he's not like proven, but I don't think it's going to be easy to like get all those guys to gel and like actually play like a system. And then this is going to be Frank Lampard's test. Like I said before, I still don't know if he's like a top manager. I think he's like okay as of right now, but like Timo Werner's good, Ziyech is good, Chilwell. They needed a left back, even though I kind of like Marcos Alonso a lot. Thiago Silva going to be massive leadership wise. Like he's going to be a rock in the back. Havertz almost seems like he's like you don't even need him. They just bought him for the heck of it.
That's what I'm saying. So, like, if you look at their team, like, they're stacked. So
Yeah.
they have a ton of good players everywhere.
Yeah.
Except,
It's like
maybe except defense. But how do they play with each other? You know what I mean?
Yeah. And
it's all these guys' first. It's like it's literally relating it to FIFA again. You buy all these guys in one window, and you're just hoping that they figure it out. But like in real life, that doesn't. I don't think it happens like that.
yeah, now there's something to be said. You have that much quality, like it's going to produce at some point. You get what you pay for too. But I mean, obviously, I think Thiago Silva is going to be the best signing for them, and he was cheap. He might only be there for a year or two. Yeah, I think Chilwell's like a good upgrade over Alonso, and he's definitely like more longer term. Reece James, I hopefully will make like another step. Like I thought he was pretty good coming on to the end of last year. Maybe he makes another big step.
Yeah.
Hopefully Pulisic obviously keeps growing, keeps that post coronavirus form. And yeah, these other guys, like if you rotate Werner, Ziyech, Havertz, Pulisic, like one of those guys is going to be in form. And then you have they re-signed Giroud, which is awesome. I think Giroud's going to be a beast again. He's going to come off the bench or do whatever. I like Mason Mount. Mason Mount was really good at the end of the year. And he's more of like a 10. So I don't know if you play Havertz, like he's kind of out of position, but you play him as a 10. I don't know.
Kovacic, he's bar, right?
What'd you say?
Kovacic?
Yeah, he's there.
Yeah.
So then you have Conte, Kovacic, Mount would be like your normal midfield three. So if you throw like Havertz in there.
And then you got players like Hudson-Odoi and Loftus-Cheek.
Yeah, I don't think
they're still good young players who could play for other Premier League teams and probably start for them, like Everton.
Which is probably what's going to happen. Like Hudson-Odoi will go to like Wolves or something. Or like Tammy Abraham.
Oh, yeah, Tammy Abraham.
I don't really like Tammy Abraham.
Honestly, it might suck to be that dude because he might be buried.
Yeah, but, I mean, you're going to have to fight for your spot, so.
He'll find minutes.
It's just going to be crazy because it's almost like I wouldn't want to buy that many players in one window. Like, I'd rather have Kai Havertz come in like January because there's going to be so much pressure to get all these guys on the field early.
Yeah.
But I think they're still going to be good. So I have them second. I have Liverpool third. Who'd you have fourth?
I had Man U at fourth.
Same.
I just think they might be able to continue the form that they've been in.
Yeah.
And
they brought in Igalo. We didn't talk about this last week. They brought in Van de Beek.
Igalo has been there.
Well, whatever. He hasn't played much.
Yeah.
Van de Beek, who
Van de Beek.
I don't know if he's good. Like I watch him and I'm like, okay.
He's solid. He does his thing, but like he's not like a standout player. You know what I mean?
It's like I don't want to compare him to Frankie de Jong because they're both Dutch and Ajax, but like it's just like a way worse version of Frankie de Jong, where like it looks like if your team's not dominating the game, like this dude will get pushed off the ball, and you're just going to blame him for your team's troubles.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out what their midfield's going to look like because Fernandez is going to play.
Mm-hmm.
Van de Beek going to play next to him. Then who plays defensive mid?
Well, Pogba's got to be.
Also got Pogba, so
Pogba needs to be there.
Yeah, but
I think it's going to be
defensive mid. So
I'm thinking it's probably going to be Van de Beek, Pogba, and Fernandez. But like I said, McTominay is good. I like McTominay.
Oh yeah, I like McTominay too. Did they sign anyone else?
That's
Big,
all I have. I don't think so.
outside back. I know they're thinking about signing Regulon's his name.
The guy from Real Madrid.
Yeah, at left back.
Mm-hmm.
Dean Henderson, I think, isn't going on loan now.
Oh, really? He's going to be there?
I think he's going to be there
That'd be big.
at Man U. So it's De Gea or Henderson, whichever one. I don't know. And
I've
then
seen
their
enough
back
of
is
that.
still, I think, really good.
Mm-hmm.
With,
Who'd you say?
What?
Who'd you say was really good?
I said their attack.
Oh, yeah.
Martial.
Those guys should still get better, too. Like, Martial could still get a little bit better. I think Rashford's going to get better. Greenwood, all those guys.
And James.
My boy.
Yeah.
All right. So that's our top four. We both have the same top four, just 2 and 3 mixed up.
Yeah.
5, who'd you have?
Arsenal.
Oof. Well, I had Tottenham at 5, Arsenal at 6. So, you want to talk about Arsenal?
Yeah, I mean, this is Arteta's first preseason with them, so
Yeah.
he can get across what he really wants to get across. Do they have any big signings?
They brought in Willian. They brought in center back Gabriel.
Oh, really?
I can't tell if he's that good. I don't know much about him, but maybe it's just because Arsenal hype up every signing they make. And they got Danny Ceballos on like a permanent move.
Oh, nice.
So
And Aubameyang's
yeah,
be the best striker in the Premier League.
mm-hmm.
So
He'll be all right.
Yeah, he'll be okay.
I don't know if there's much to talk about. Maybe be cool to see how much influence Arteta has.
Yeah, definitely.
We got Tottenham. Do you have Tottenham at 6?
I have them at 6. Yeah.
So they brought in.
Unsure because I'm not a Mourinho fan, but
I don't know, man. I kind of like Mourinho. Like he could adapt. Like he could do different things. He's not just going to be defensive.
I don't like his attitude and stuff.
He brought in Højbjerg. Is that how you say it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's a good signing. And then they have good young players like I don't know. I'm going to pronounce all of these wrong probably. Bergwijn, Aurier, Futh, Sessegnon, Ndombele. They're all guys who got minutes this past season.
Yeah, they're all good young players, but
you take the next step.
Hasn't played much. Aurier, he's just solid right back option. I think they signed another right back too. Spurs.
I don't know.
They signed Doherty from.
Oh yeah.
So I don't even know if Aurier will be the guy there.
Mm-hmm.
And Ndombele had a falling out with Mourinho at the end of the season. They had beef.
I started watching on Amazon Prime the All or Nothing with Tottenham.
Oh yeah, me and my roommates were gonna start it.
Yeah, it's pretty good so far. It's definitely better than the Leeds one they did.
Well, the Spurs one is done from different people.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
The Leeds one was also Amazon though.
Yeah, but it was. This isn't All or Nothing. The Spurs one. The Leeds one was something else.
Oh.
The people who did the Man City one did the Spurs one.
Yeah, it makes sense. The Man City one was good too. You get inside the.
Yeah, I haven't started it, but I've seen clips and I saw the clip of Danny Rose and Mourinho in the office, and Danny Rose is like, everyone else sucks too, but you don't bench them or whatever.
Oh wow, I'm kind of excited for that. Yeah, Mourinho's pretty good in that. I think some of it's a little scripted.
For sure.
Hey, Mourinho, let's get this shot.
That makes it interesting. But
yeah. Speaking of that, though, I was gonna watch Ted Lasso.
A word?
My boy Coach Joe recommended I watch Ted Lasso on Apple TV, but I went on the website and it just wouldn't work. It wouldn't let me click the free trial or whatever. So
yeah, I'm gonna try and watch that too.
Yeah, it looks good. All right, and then so we have 5 and 6 the same, just reversed. I had Leicester and Wolves. They didn't have any.
Oh, I forgot about Leicester.
That's all I had. So Leicester and Wolves, my top 8. Do you have Everton in your top 8, dude?
I had Everton at 7.
Dude, that you might have a parade for that, man.
I have Everton at 7. I don't get how you don't put Everton in the top 8.
All right, talk to me about Everton.
Everton, well, where do I start? The 3 big midfield signings. We got James Rodriguez.
I love that. I love James.
Yeah, James is going to be great for Everton.
You gonna get his jersey?
Yeah, I am actually going to get his jersey.
It's gonna be so sick.
They also signed Allen from Napoli, who played under Ancelotti
Mm.
when Ancelotti coached Napoli. Allen's a solid player and has been pretty good for the past few seasons. I think he's kind of older, but
Does a job.
he'll do a job, yeah, for sure. And then Doucouré from Watford,
Yeah.
the big dude. He's just like strong player on the ball.
Matt, he's everywhere. Like he just goes everywhere.
Yeah, and like defense will pretty much stay the same, but John Joe Kenny from Schalke returns from loan.
Watch way too many of his games after quarantine.
He's not that good, but it's a position that they kind of need some depth in is right back. Yeah, so with that midfield, I expect them to play maybe 4-4-2. I don't know, maybe Doucouré and Allen in the midfield, James and Rich Carlson, or James and another winger, and then Rich Carlson, Keane, or Dominic Calvert-Lewin up top.
Yeah.
And I think like the strike partnership between Rich Carlson and Dominic Calvert-Lewin was pretty good last season. They both had like 12 goals in the league. So like
You're not gonna play 4-4-2, right?
that's what Ancelotti played mostly, a 4-4-2.
I don't see that happening, dude. I don't know why you bring in James and did not play him as a 10.
Yeah, I know.
I heard Moises Keane might go back to Juventus though.
I heard that too, which wouldn't upset me too much because he scored 1 goal the whole season.
Was that under Ancelotti where he got subbed in and then subbed out, or was that under the other manager?
That was under Duncan Ferguson.
Who was the interim, right?
Yeah.
So who started the season as manager?
Marco Silva.
He got canned. They brought in this guy.
He got sacked in December, and then Duncan Ferguson took over for about 5 or 6 games. He was an assistant and moved back to assistant when Ancelotti came.
Oh, okay.
Now, what I wish they would have done in the during this window is get rid of Jordan Pickford. I hate Jordan Pickford.
Dude, I'm pretty sure Everton fans love him.
Problem. I just don't like him because he'll make dumb mistakes, and like he should get blamed for some goals that go in.
Wow, okay.
And they have the money to buy.
I guess they're kind of splashing money. That
Yeah.
big Hummel deal.
Yep. I had them at 7.
Okay. So who'd you leave out? Wolves?
I forgot Leicester. I had Wolves at 8, but I would put Leicester there. And
I also had Wolves at 8, Leicester at 7. So I mean, there's not much to talk about. Like, yeah, they're good teams.
I think Leicester will probably be just as good, but I feel like the top teams will like.
Yeah, it was a down year for. Yeah, other than City and Liverpool, it was a down year for like, at least in the beginning of the year when Leicester was doing well for United, Chelsea, like Tottenham, all those guys. So
the thing with Wolves, I feel like they didn't really do enough. They signed another Portuguese guy. They might have signed a few others, but
Traore is getting better too. I mean, that guy's only gonna get better.
Yeah. So basically, their whole attack is Traore, dribbles, cross, Raul Jimenez header.
Remember when I was high on him back in like 2015?
That might be the 3rd time you've mentioned it.
Every time we talk about it, I'm going to say that too.
Okay.
So I'm just telling the people my track record so they know to listen to my takes.
But the thing with predicting a Premier League table is like, I don't think anyone has ever predicted a Premier League table like correctly. Yeah. It's always like a top team. Like I wouldn't be surprised if like Arsenal just somehow finishes like 10th. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they just like have a terrible start to the season or something like that.
Yeah, like you never know. But
yeah. Did you have anything else on the Premier League? That's all I had.
No, not really. I'm just excited
Yeah, this weekend, right?
some of the promoted teams. I'm excited to watch these.
Leeds made a lot of signings, so it'll be interesting. Kind of like Wolves when they got promoted a couple years ago. Yeah, that's all I had. You have anything else for this podcast?
Nah, I wanted to ask you though. Did you see anything about the MLS Next?
Yeah, I haven't. I have a few things saved that I want to read, but I haven't heard much about it. That's just the Academy League, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we could talk about that next time because I haven't read too much about it, but it's interesting. I like reading about like youth development concepts, kind of stuff, like what it means.
Yeah.
Cool. Next podcast, we were going to do it on this one, but then we kind of added, a few more topics. Next podcast, I think we're going to talk about the importance of individual training, right?
Yeah.
Something we both did a lot, like as our careers progressed. And then maybe after that, so podcast 11, one of the topics we'll talk about is the importance of individual training in terms of in relative to a player's development. And then after that could be the difference between an individual skill set compared to a game skill set. So kind of putting the pieces together. So it's building upon that. Because I was watching, did I tell you that my U8 team didn't play this weekend in that tournament?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we were short on players or whatever. So we didn't play this weekend, but I still helped out. And I was just I like to go to tournaments and watch coaches and teams and see how they kind of do things, what coaches say. And I notice a lot of players, they might have skills and I feel like coaches will coach to master the skill in a drill, but it doesn't translate to games, if you know what I mean.
No, I don't really know what you mean.
It's for example, if I master I don't know, I want to give it more thought in the other podcast, but a dribbling drill, right? I get really good at this dribbling drill, but in a game, and you're a 10 or 11-year-old boy or girl in a game, the coach should be encouraging that player to dribble, get used to having the ball at their feet, but get their head up, take the space. And then when someone comes in, you kind of dish it off. But I don't see that, but I'll see in practice or what I assume people work on is a lot of just unopposed kind of ungame realistic type stuff, if you know what I mean.
I think I know what you mean.
Yeah. So, yeah, I was actually going to look up some stuff for that, but that would be in 2 weeks. Next one is just on individual training.
Oh, yeah.
So, and if anyone listening has suggestions or wants to contribute to the conversation on individual training or whatever, that'd be awesome too. Because we kind of think alike, I think, on most of this stuff. We train together all the time. We both see the importance in this stuff. So maybe someone has a different take on it.
So are you back coaching with high school next week?
Next week, yeah, starting Monday, we start tryouts.
Nice.
Hopefully everything goes well. No virus and all that stuff. Everyone started school, so hopefully that's good.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
All right, cool. So, all right, that's it.
All right.
You ready to log on?
Good
All
talk.
right.
All right.
Peace.
See ya.